live. Like now. Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our. Oops, let me just turn unmute my mic. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Conversations, our second session on Conversations, and we're so glad to have you all. We have just a few people here, so the conversatement's going to start from now. I think everybody know each other in here. We will skip the long introduction that we had before. And I don't know, I'll take it from the top in terms of attendees. So let me pass it to the people who came in here first. If you want to proffer or offer or suggest some of the things that we may want to look at or discuss, and maybe we could probably start with, see that Irvin reaching here early. Irv, any?
Evening all to the members here so far, evening all streaming on YouTube. Well, just a quick thing. My name is Irvin Guchun, 904 Uniform Bravo, relatively new ham. And again, I just want to say welcome and get the ball rolling. I think we had a good response last day, and I hope to see a similar response today and have, more fruitful and entertaining discussions. That's all. Back to you then.
Okay. I like the station in the back there, Irv. Really good. Impressive indeed.
You're gonna look a little better when I get a proper green screen too.
All right. Robbie, good evening. And Robbie and Irvin are our co-hosts this evening. So thank you very much for being there and doing that. Robbie, over to you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's certainly a pleasure to be here and looking forward to the discussion. I think the last session was fantastic. I think us coming together as amateur radio operators, either currently licensed or maybe even prospective, working towards it, coming up with ideas, fresh ideas, what we have done in the past, what are some of the issues. I think the meeting of ideas and problems and solutions and just the discussion, I think, could be inspiring. I think it's positive. Okay, so there's an Ian Millett, somebody called iPhone coming in. Right. So I guess you guys will okay. All right, so good evening, everyone. Yeah, so yeah, it's really, I think, a good platform for us to have these discussions, conversation, sharing thoughts in an environment that is as welcoming as this. Where we can share our thoughts, maybe thoughts along ideas that we had in mind. And there's one that for tonight I would like to ask if the opportunity presents itself. There's one curious question I have, but I'll save it for a little bit later. And, to put it out there, to get feedback, because inside of here, I mean, if we were to add up the collective experience of just the few people who are here so far, thus far, I think we will it'll end up being hundreds of years. So, some of us may not have the experience, some of us may not have yet contemplated something, but we are thinking about it. But in our midst, there may be persons who have been there, done that. And it's not to say that we cannot try it ourselves, but sometimes getting a little bit of a heads up, well, be a little bit careful here about this. This is what you might want to do. Save yourself some heartache. Nothing wrong with learning from the school of hard knocks. But when you have such a group of persons with all of this experience that we could leverage on, fantastic. And even those of us who may have been quite experienced in an area, having a new person with fresh ideas could present some, new perspectives, and maybe we haven't quite tried that aspect of it because amateur radio is so wide-ranging. So that's my initial thoughts, really. Glad to be part of it and looking forward to the conversation with our colleagues.
Okay there, Bobby. Thank you very much for that there. And we just having some opening comments from everyone. We're not doing an introduction per se, just some opening comments. And we now move on to Stevenson. Good evening, Stevenson, and welcome.
Yeah, very good night to each and everyone. God bless. We hope seeing that everyone is safe and looking healthy. Most important thing. So once again, it's a pleasure being here tonight. And I see my buddy from Baltimore is in, Ian Millett is in again tonight. Yeah. So last session was very, very great. Cannot say, although we went, I must say, until must see 2 o'clock the morning after 2 o'clock. So much to talk about. So we are looking to see tonight what will the topic will be. Well, I know somebody will come up with a salient topic, so we'll take it from there. But the nice part of it is each and everyone chiming in to put their 5 cents. According to that, it have no 1 cent again or 2 cents, so it's 5 cents up now. They're 5 cents. And we do the necessary cool, calm, and collective discussion. So let's get on with it and over to the next person. 9 Zulu 4 Delta Zulu out.
Yeah, okay, there, Stevenson. Thank you so much for coming in there. And yes, we have to get the YouTube stream correct this time. It's a learning experience. And over to you there, Franz, my good buddy in St. Lucia. Over to you, Franz.
Yeah, very good evening to you there. Good evening to everybody else. Of course, call sign is J69. Yes, the name is Franz. Hasn't changed. Robbie, you say you have a salient question to ask, but it's now you have me curious, man. I want to know. I want to know. Yeah, last time was real great, and I'm sure tonight, as the discussion develops, many interesting points will come up. So we're definitely in for it because it's very interesting. We've been sharing the link with lots of people out there. So I'm sure in a little bit we'll have a screen full again like last time. So good stuff indeed. I like the whole idea behind this conversation. Really, it's very nice and a good way to go forward because as Robbie said, we have plenty of knowledge across the Caribbean. Plenty of people, each has their own little strong point. So when we put all together, we're there. So I know it can happen. All right, that's it. I'll stand by for now.
Yeah, okay, yes, certainly. And the last session started at 8. We officially ended at around, I think it was closer to a little after 11. And then another session went on till after 2. So I was at that for about 6 hours. But it was really quite good there. I see we have an iPhone. I suspect that is Brahmi. Brahmi, I don't know how to name yourself. Just asking for a friend. I want to
tell your friend at joining at 9Z4 Jag will be joining shortly. So let the friend know that Jag will be joining shortly.
Oh, all right, okay, I'll tell him. Well, I'll tell her there, Brahmi. And all right, and I see we have quite a nice little group in here, and I'll move on just for some opening comments. You know, let me swing across here to, I think the next person coming in there was Ian Millett. Good evening there, Ian, and welcome. Unmute yourself. Press the space bar if you want. As
Okay.
a PT.
Thanks. Good to be back again this evening. I got the invite from Stevenson, so blame him. But I'm looking forward to hearing what the topic is and seeing, what interesting things will come out of that. So I'll pass it on to the next person. I hope everyone's doing well. Good evening.
Yeah, okay, Ian, fine. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to break protocol a bit and rather than go down the list. I see we have a lovely young lady here. So let me ask Kim. Kim, good evening and welcome to the conversations there. Over to you.
Hi, Dev. A pleasure to be here. Thanks so much for all of you for organizing these wonderful sessions. And congratulations again to you on a spectacular career. So handing back over to you, Dev.
Oh, thanks very much there, Kim. And if I have to do it, I'll do it the same way over. All right. And thanks again. Thomas, B. Thomas, good evening and welcome. I see you advertising it via a formal structure there. Nice having you there. Over to you. Unmute.
Good evening to all, and And a special good evening to the lady. Good to see we have a lady on board this evening. Well, the last session was quite interesting and there's quite a number of topics discussed. And we're anxious to see what projects is on board or what the progress we're making in that respect. Just getting over Elsa there. I spent the day trying to get some wires that was tangled into trees and that kind of thing on the hill where I live here. And other than that, we're looking forward to an exciting evening.
All right, thank you very much for coming in there. And let's see, the next person, thanks again for that contribution. The next person we have is Erickson LeBlanc. The mic is yours. Erickson LeBlanc?
Yeah, just chilling. What's up? Good evening, everyone. I kind of forgot this. Franz just gave me a jolt and said that we needed to come in there tonight. So good evening to everyone. I thoroughly enjoyed the last session. So I hope tonight I can enjoy some more and learn some more. So, do I still need to introduce myself after the last meeting?
No. Your name is there. We're not going through the long introduction again because we want to get on.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Erickson.
No problem.
All right, and we have Chris. Kilo Foxtrot for Alpha Fox. Mike is yours, Chris.
Thanks, Dev. Good to see you live and in person, not on one of your YouTube videos or on an FT8. It's Stevenson's fault that I'm here as well. I heard somebody else say that. He sent me the invite. So thanks for the invite. Sounds like it's going to be a great session to listen to. Your hair's not the same as it was in that video I'm watching on. I'm setting up my remote stuff. So, but thank you for putting that out there. I appreciate it. And thanks for having me on here, everybody. 7-3.
Yeah, Chris, thanks very much. As a matter of fact, I see it got, so far it has over 7,000 views. I've almost every week every other day I have to be answering questions from guys. And it's really nice. You know, I really enjoy remote operation. It is really, really awesome there, Chris. And hope one day that I see you in it. I know Franz is already there, you know, doing it in all different ways and fashion. All right, moving down the list. So far we have, I think I took all this row. So we're going to Garth. 9Z4GM. Pick it up there, Garth.
Hi, good evening to everyone. Nice to be here again. After the last session, it was a very informative and knowledgeable session there. So hoping to join in and gain some more information and knowledge and meet some new guys. That's one thing. I'll be switching to the YouTube. The phone is dying, so I'll be following via the YouTube for now while the phone charges.
All right. You know, God, just like emergency at a plan, eh? And so to the conversation. Conversation emergency require good planning.
Yeah, plans changed today. I had like about 3 Zoom sessions just prior to this one, so the battery couldn't handle all of that.
Yeah, I know it is. I just pull in your leg there, God. No problem there at all. I'm glad you could still make it in. And good thing you have a little backup plan there in the Zoom session. All right. I see we have Denise M. Edwards. Dimas. I like that. Pick it up there, Denise, and welcome.
Good evening. Thanks for the kind welcome. The call sign is Juliet 72 Delta Mike Romeo from Nature Isle of the Caribbean. Good evening.
All right. Welcome. Glad to have you on board. Really a pleasure there. And moving across there to Mark, 9Z4Y. Let me see if he has voice today. Pick it up there, Mark.
All right, hopefully that you guys are hearing me now. Okay, Jeff, first of all, thanks a lot for having us on another good session there. Congratulations on your retirement. A very long, illustrious career. I know you're looking forward to relaxing, of course. With retirement, you have a lot more time on your hands, and that means a lot more things to do. So special good evening to everyone joining today, and would like to take part in the discussion. Back to you, the Dev, from 9Z4Y.
Yeah, okay there, Mark. Thank you so much for those very kind words on the retirement. You know, just today somebody asked me, so what are the plans? You know, what it is you're going to do? You know, they called me sick. They thought I was, you know, having a little rest or sleeping or whatever. I say, boy, just before retirement, imagine me taxiing down the runway. Okay. And when I retire, I'm going to pull on the yoke. Okay. And take flight. So the magic is just about to start there, Mark. You know, you'll all hear about it in a little bit. But it's something that we have in the train, and exciting times ahead. That's all I could say for now there, Mark. Thanks again for joining in. And I guess I'm glad to see you fix the mic from the last session there. At least we can hear you. And please stick around. I know you might be working. You know, Mark is one of the hardworking people here that working all now while we could, you know, conversate. Although there's no word like that. Good evening, Fedna. The mic is yours, Fedna La Chapelle.
Good evening, Chair, and good evening to all on this channel tonight. Right. I also want to congratulate you on your retirement. Right. I wish you a fruitful retirement. Although we know technically when we retirement, I'm sure you're going to find something else to do. All right, and I'm going to keep it further. I hope tonight will be productive as last time. And I just here in the background listening. Thank you.
And I'm going to place them over the end of the line. I'm going to bring it in a little bit. Now, the washer that's further in on the line, meaning this one, because this one.
Okay, all right, no problem there at all. Thanks very much, there, Fedna. And yes, retirement is just changing gears, you know. I mean, you still have to do what you have to do. All right, and moving across to South Trinidad. Brahmi, good evening and welcome there, over.
Very good evening to you, Dev, and good evening to all the other radio amateurs on this Zoom session here. Once again, thank you for the invite from South. And looking forward, and as you know, just, you know, trying to let the world know that, you know, I've gone remote, you know, and I can't just stop saying that, Dev. So I can say it again, I've gone remote, right? Thanks to you and some other guys, thanks to you, you know, we got through, and I'm enjoying every bit of it. Nice keying the phone from any part of Trinidad, and 2 meters HF, everything, you know, it's very, very, I've gone remote, Dev. So let the world know that they're over.
Yes, it is something to, you know, this Christmas song, Hark the Heralds. You know, you want to tell everybody, sing it to the world, as they say. It's really an awesome feeling to have your entire ham radio in the palm of your hands like this. It's really awesome. Regardless of where you go on the planet, it's there, you know. And I'm glad that, because you see, there's another man who bit the dust, I should say, and went remote there. All right, moving on now. Ronald, good evening. Welcome to our conversations this evening, Ron.
Good evening, Dev. Good evening to other hams on the Zoom tonight. Yeah, looking forward to this conversation tonight. The first one held recently was very informative, really enlightening. So hopefully this one will also continue in similar vein as well. And a long day, a bit tired there. Came off a Zoom meeting with my team just recently. So that's over within the last hour. So definitely hope that I don't nod off on this one, but then, you know, any nature of the discussions, I don't expect that to happen, we'll see. So carry on smartly, and good night, everyone. Take care.
Okay, fine, Aaron. Thanks so much for coming up. All right, so far I think we have everybody. I'm not too sure if anybody's on the chat. I am not looking at the chat. Irv, can you take a look at the chat and see if there are any any questions or comments on the chat before we
Yeah,
go to the...
nothing so far in the Zoom chat. I'm seeing that the YouTube chat is disabled, so you can take a look at that.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. You see, more thing to learn. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I will see how I could set that up here. Not too sure how we could do that. All right, I'll have to look into that maybe on the next time around. Oops, that's really not what we wanted. We wanted people to be able to interact with us on YouTube as well. All right, so we have a unidirectional flow of information, and I apologize to that to our YouTube viewers. We really wanted you all to participate in this as well. If anybody knows how we could enable it while we doing this, I don't know, Robbie, you have any solutions here on how we could probably enable the chat?
Yes, just go into studio.youtube.com and look at the stream, and there should be a setting to say enable live chat. I think it's a tick box if I'm not mistaken.
All right, look at that. Okay,
studio.youtube.com.
On this live chat, enable auto start, enable DVR. I'm in the studio, a 360-degree video, closed caption. Let me turn that on for whatever it's worth. No. On list, live replay, one stream ends. No, I don't want that. I am looking at it here, enable auto start. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing that here in the settings. I'm in the studio on another computer looking at the link, and there's nothing. I'm just seeing stream settings, right? That should be here.
Yeah, looking for the more options. I think it's more options. And it's under comments.
I see correct connection is excellent. Look at stream health. Nothing is there. And let's stream settings. Oh boy. Closed caption.
But they have you good, Dev.
What's that?
I said they have you good.
But they said we're back to school.
I know, right?
Let's see, low latency, ultra low. I'm not seeing that in this thing here at all. That is strange. If I click edit, no. Select playlist, audience. Yes, this is made for kids. Tags, language. Allow embedding. Man, I see nothing like that. The stream contains paid promotion, no, made for kids. All right, well, we tried. I got to look at this and do some more reading. So I don't wanna click cancel. Oh, here, live chat. Oh yes, live chat. Yeah, man. How we could get that? Live chat, learn more. All right, whatever. I see live chat details. Who can send message? Anyone. Yeah, but the live chat thing here seems to be grayed out. So there's some setting that.
Did you set it to made for kids?
Yeah.
All right, so that might be it. When you do that, it makes certain features unavailable, such as chat. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, well, maybe that's why. So let me just cancel this. Unless I could change the. Would I be able to change that? I saw I could change that. You know.
Yeah, you should be able to change.
On the first page, the landing page where you have this description, just never put it for kids because it is very restrictive.
Right. All right, let's go it again. Public audience. No, it is not made for kids. There we go. Save that. Change. Let's edit this now. Live chat. Here we go. Live chat is on.
Yeah, the chat's up there.
Right. Okay. Right. So we learned something today. Okay. Nice. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for your patience. And now you all can chat away now. People, don't let me go through all of this thing here and tell me all your end going to live chat, you know. So ask your questions and whatever else. Okay. Nice. So let's see. Let's take anybody from the live session want to start any discussion? Toss it up. And as I'm back, yeah, go ahead.
Here's a good question. How many of us are on WinLink? We're in the season. I know in Trinidad, you guys suddenly got real active of late. Right?
No, I used to be active even when Wayne had it up every Wednesday night.
Yeah, that net still is actually on it, the WinLink Wednesday net. Wednesday WinLink net, whichever way it is. But yeah, that's still on.
Right.
73 whiskey. So I still do that one. I still also do the other one, which is the original one, really. I mean, the guy in Texas, KF5VO, I think it is. That's the other net. I do both. I participate in both of them because it's good practice.
Certainly.
You know, it's ideal in emergency communications, really and truly.
Yeah, we
have Barbados on too, eh?
Yeah, we own internet.
Has a gateway now.
Yes.
AP6 something November whiskey, Bravo November whiskey, something like that. Something close.
That's right. Yeah.
It works pretty well. I can access it nicely on 80/40 any time of the day. So that's really good. That one works very well. And I believe the J73 win has also been moved to a better location. I used to have a very hard time to get into it, but right now it works nicely.
And that's on HF or VHF?
Yeah, I access them by HF, yeah.
Okay.
The one in Dominica is, well, I think, or the one in Barbados also, they're supposed to have VHF packet. I must check for the one in Barbados because I can hit Barbados repeaters from here like the back of my hand.
Yeah, well, see, that's why I had to ask Franz if it's HF or VHF because Franz talked to almost the whole of the Caribbean from his location via HF and via VHF and UHF.
Yeah, we have some good fun. We have some good fun with that. But yeah, it's good to have I mean, if you have a gateway on island, Trinidad is bigger, so it might be a bit more complicated to get the whole island covered. But, you know, an island like Barbados or even St. Lucia with 1 or 2 nodes, you know, DGPTers basically, you could have access, you know, from VHF, which just about everybody has, as opposed to not everybody might be on HF. So it's an important part of that gateway.
Right, certainly is. And this season, you know, we need to brush up on our skills to get us in the air and that sort of stuff in times of need. All right. So Franz made a comment there with respect to WinLink. Anybody else have any things that they want to chime in with that will generate some discussion and so on? I know Robbie has something that he has for us.
Well, Dev, I think you made a comment, or was it Franz? Somebody made a comment, you know, great minds think alike, right? I think that was the comment that was made. Franz, that was exactly the topic I had in mind to ask that I mentioned in the opening remarks about WinLink. Specifically, I was curious to, I saw Barbados and Dominica have RMS gateways in the Caribbean, and I guess the next closest one will be Puerto Rico, and then there's Dominican Republic and Costa Rica. But I was curious in terms of whether or not other locations were going to set up the RMS gateways. I guess it's helpful for a country that may not be affected to have an RMS gateway. If you're affected, your RMS gateway is going to be down. Who you're going to, you know, really to immediately. So you're really looking forward to someone outside of where you are, perhaps. And I guess the question really was how many other locations. I know we have the Caribbean reasonably well represented in the forum tonight, how many other locations might be setting up RMS gateways, as well as what protocols are going to be run on those RMS gateways. The reason I ask is that I noticed, well, the Barbados station runs pretty much everything. It runs maybe not robust packet, but I see it's running VARA, HF, it's running Winmore, of course, Pactor. But one of the things I found was that many of the gateways, the RMS gateways, don't run the variety of protocols. And of course, they run it across the gamut of the HF bands, and I guess they round robin through those frequencies listening. So when you have to make a connection, you sometimes have to wait a little while for the station to be listening onto that particular frequency to make the connection, which is fine. But, in terms of setting up additional RMS gateways, and the second part of the question would be persons not setting up RMS gateways, but have RF WinLink capability. I think we have quite a few persons who certainly have telnet or internet or IP connectivity via WinLink. But the question is in terms of having HF or some sort of RF link, such as VHF. I know here on island, Dexter did set up VARA FM-based WinLink gateway, RMS gateway here as well. So just a question in terms of what are some of the intents to set up RMS gateways in other Caribbean islands besides maybe Dominica and Barbados that currently have, as well as setting up as amateurs our ability to do WinLink over HF. And just to mention to the group, so my plan on this end is to actually set up, at least on a couple of HF bands, an RMS gateway that will do Pactor. That's my little experiment, if you want to call it. So just mentioning what my little plan is. But I'm curious to know what are some of the other initiatives that we may not be aware of. And to my last comment, I agree with Franz. We are in the hurricane season, but it don't have to only be about the hurricane season. We always need to be prepared for disasters and emergencies. And I think getting WinLink up and running is certainly an important aspect of it. Other persons, I know Noel and Tommy have spoken before about the initiatives. I see Barbados on there. When they publish their RMS gateway, they emphasize that it's sponsored by the ITU in respect of that effort as well. So just curious to know as well if other countries are leveraging on the donation or the funding available for setting up other RMS gateways. So that's my slightly short, slightly long question.
All right. So what I'll do is that I'll ask anybody wants to go first, and maybe I'll ask Franz to probably give a response on that, seeing that he brought up the topic, and then we'll toss it around. Oh, that's a good thing, you see? And he raised his hand. Great minds, as they say. Go ahead, Franz.
All right. First things first, yeah, the gateway in Barbados and Dominica, both are ITU gateways, as in sponsored by ITU. The one in Barbados, the setup and install was done locally by the guys, as Ishmael and crew and the whole gang. They did their stuff, but it was sponsored by ITU. And the one in Dominica was, I think initially the guys came down and did the setup, but similar situation. There was supposed to be a third one. And I say supposed to, I'm not aware that they're not still going to do it. They were doing one after the other. And as far as, if I can remember correctly, the next one was Grenada. And you're quite right in saying you need an RMS gateway out of the path of disaster, if you wish. So if something were to hit Barbados, Dominica, Grenada is ideal. You don't need well, you could have a gateway on each and every island. How useful that will be, not too sure, because I mean, it's a big investment. Bear in mind, as a private entity like Wayne, J73 Whiskey Alpha, who for years was really and truly the sole gateway, RMS gateway across the Caribbean, from Puerto Rico coming down. But it ties up your radio. You have a radio that is on all the time, and that is all it does, is Pactor, Vara, Widmore, whatever modes you have it set up to do, and it's scanning the bands for signal, right? So that is a huge investment in effort and equipment, and you also have to have backup power. An RMS is of no use if it disappears at random. You know, if it's here today and tomorrow it's not, and next week you see it and that kind of thing, then it becomes useless because people cannot depend on it. And an RMS station has to be, you know, on all the time, 24/7, and the whole year through. It has to always be there. And that's very important with WinLink. And I'm trying to recall his call sign, the one that manages it's XE6 something. They're very strict in, you know, giving people the setup for to be an RMS as such. You know, they want to make sure that you're going to be there. I had one time ran one for about a year, 2 years. I can't remember how long, but I ran it for a while. And eventually I told him, no, you know, I really cannot keep it up because, you know, I don't have nowhere else to put it, and it ties down my station, you know. And there was no real usage of it to justify tying up my station 24/7 that way. So those are the things you have to really look at with WinLink as an RMS station. You're asking about stations across the Caribbean. You have a huge one in Venezuela, Yankee Victor 4, Yankee Victor 4, Yankee Victor, or something like that. Very good station, very accessible. When I'm in the mood to go via that station, I always get through. No problem at all. The other one is the one that's in Dominican Republic, HI8 something. That's also a big station. It's really solid and works very well. So, and you're not tied down to using a station in the Caribbean. I know of a lot of people use the one that's not the one, but one of those that is up in Canada, which works very well. You know, it's whatever works for you at the time of day. At midday, you might not get very far on 40, but 20 meters will work fine. So you might find that on 20 meters, your best shot will be the States or Mexico or South America for that matter, wherever it is. But they will all serve the same purpose in that what happens is that, you know, it's all linked. It's like one huge network of email servers. So you send out via, I don't know, say Mexico, the message still gonna get to destination because somebody that you send a message to connects to, I don't know, in Canada, they're gonna get that message the same way you would get your email if somebody sends it from anywhere in the world. So it's the same principle, and it's you know, it's really a great system. Back to you, Dev.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thanks very much, dear fans. All right, so I'll open up the floor. Anybody has any comments on the WinLink? Anybody need to get any clarification? But before I do that, I think we have two new persons joining us. John, G73 Charlie, and Avin. Avin is actually Irvin's brother. So let me pass it first to John Christian, G73 Charlie. Pick it up there, John. And good evening. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening, Dave. Good evening to everybody here. It's just a pleasure to, you know, sit back and listen. Learn a new thing or two. Very happy to be here, guys. Sorry, I don't have my camera working, but probably on the next go around, it should be up and running. Okay. Good evening, all.
Yeah, John, we asked all the ugly people to turn the cameras off, so I'm glad, yeah. Anyhow, good evening there, Avin. And you could turn on your camera, you know. I mean, after all, you're Irvin, brother, and have a little resemblance between two of you. Good evening, Avin, and welcome. Long time no see, buddy.
Yeah, cheers, buddy. Cheers. Nice to have me.
Yeah. So where are you now, Avin? I mean, which part of the world are you in right now?
Currently, I'm in Canada. So I'm in Western Canada, in Alberta.
Okay, great. And I'll give you a little story about Avin. Avin was involved in ham radio when he was in Aprima College in the league. late 80s, early 90s. And Avin actually was the key person, and he was in scouts and all that kind of thing. And when they just started the school roundup, it is been February, the school roundup, we took part in it for 3 years and we placed first in the world using a ZS6 BKW. That Avin is one of the fellows who actually helped him make the first set of ladder line that looked like a ladder with 1.5 millimeter wire and some ceramic spacers. He was one of the what shall I say, the persons that I had involved in child labor to build these ladder lines so that I could get one to use too. Thank you very much, Avin. That antenna is still, well, I don't have the antenna, that particular antenna, but you know, the
Wow.
design is still around, you know. So thanks very much.
You're most welcome.
Yeah. All right. So yes, getting back to the issue at hand with respect to WinLink. Anybody else want to chime in on the WinLink with any questions, or maybe what is WinLink, or feel free. The floor is open.
I could say, Dev, that as I understand it, there were 14 countries that the ITU approached, 14 Caribbean countries that the ITU approached to sign on to the first phase of the WinLink project. And I don't know, I know Barbados, Dominica, either St. Lucia or St. Vincent were among the ones that did sign up. I know for sure Trinidad and Tobago did not. And I don't know the others, but what I can say is that 14 countries were approached and invited to participate.
All right, interesting. And let's hope that if ever opportunities come our way again, that we don't sit on our hands. And I wouldn't even want to ask what is the reason. I mean, this is not the forum for that, and point fingers and whatever. We just need to, I think, seize every opportunity that we get to, advance the hobby, advance technology, and advance our resilience in this region. Thanks very much for that, Kim. That is very, very good information. All right. Anybody else with any? Okay, I see John is. John, are you going to leave us? J73 Charlie?
No, negative. I'm just speaking with Kim. Just chatting with her.
All right, you were a little bit away from the mic there, John. Say it again.
I was just chatting with Kim.
Oh. All right, okay. No problem at all. All right, okay, nice. Okay, great. All right. All right, anybody else? Any comments? All right. So we will probably need to move on to another topic. Anybody else have any other things that they will want to discuss or have us tell us, share the information, comments, questions?
Dev.
Yes, Stevenson.
Yeah, before we move off, it's possible that we will know who have WinLink capabilities. So in case of we want to bring up WinLink, because so long as you have an amateur radio station, it's just to download the necessary software and things like that. And things so at least you can send messages back and forth and have know-how, some practices from now, how to use WinLink and things like that. So who are the capabilities or whatsoever we suppose at least we could know now, because as we say, we are into the hurricane season, and that is one of the great forum that we can use to get messages back and forth throughout the islands there. Go.
All right, well, we have 19 participants here on this Zoom session, and we have how many on the chat? I have 13 concurrent viewers, so I guess that's people who are on both. 13. So that's about 2 we could sample. That's our sample size there, Stevenson. So who is on WinLink? Just raise your hand. Yes, I am. Franz is, right? Maybe we could use the reactions thing. Raise hand. I know Franz and Stevenson and Denise and okay. So okay. All right. So that's it. But like as Stevenson said, even if this conversation actually generated some interest in it, I'm sure we can look at some of the. There's a section here. Oh no. Right. We can certainly generate a forum where people can ask questions or find out the software that is required to get going. So we have some people here. If you're interested in getting it, it'd really be nice to download the software. Some of the software is pretty easy. Especially if you want to use the Telnet version and send messages and whatnot for starters, and then get your feet wet, and as it go along, you can start to add equipment to it. So it's something that I would strongly recommend. Is WinLink Express. I think that's the name of the Telnet version, WinLink Express. So download, just Google WinLink Express, and you should be able to run that on any PC, hook up to the internet, and you will be able to send messages, okay? So that's one way to start, a very, very easy, quick win to start. Any other comments or questions? Oh, and Franz has posted something here in the chat for everyone, which will be nice to link. And Frank has a so not Franz, actually, not Frank. Franz has a website that is a wealth of information, especially for the Caribbean. Just search for J69 Delta Sierra on the internet. Even if you can't remember the website, is some kind of Dageek or something like that. I don't remember that. I just searched for J69 Delta Sierra, and presto, it comes up. You click, and it's very, very useful. Franz did an awesome job with that website in terms of the repeaters, the nets, Franz is a real Caribbean man. When you look at our website, well done, Franz. Well done. I think we are a real a round of applause there.
Thanks.
Right. Any other comments, questions on WinLink before we look at another topic? And thanks for that.
The hardware, what hardware you require for the WinLink?
Well, for starters, the initial thing that I use is you have a laptop, you're good to go. Okay, you can download a software called WinLink Express, and I just WinLink Express, and if you just Google it, that is just going to give you the Telnet version, meaning that you could send and receive messages via your computer. But if, as you listen to Robbie and Franz, where you have equipment hooked up to your computer and on 24/7, 365, then you're looking at some other stuff like WinMore and the RMS gateways, setting up the RMS gateways, and things like Vara and Pactor and all that sort of stuff. So you can certainly do it in steps. Tom, you can certainly do it in Bernard. You can certainly do it in steps. So you don't have to jump in the deep end of the pool. You could paddle your way, dog swim a little bit until you're, proficient. And of course, once you get on the WinLink Express, you'll be able to meet quite a lot of hams who are into WinLink, and they would be giving you better guidance than I certainly would.
Okay, thank you. I'll be calling on Franz. I'll be calling on you to guide me through.
Yeah,
in good hands.
That's not a problem. But the initial setup can be so simple, really and truly. It's a simple. If you do, I know Bernard doesn't do digital modes, but as long as you do digital modes, you can do WinLink out of the box just about, because you can hit the ground running. You're already connected to your radio. You use the CAT connection for TX, your radio. and you already have a sound connection, mic in, mic out, one way, the other way. So your audio comes and goes from the PC to the radio. That's basically all it is. I mean, as simply as you can put it. You can go as fancy as you want insofar as the device between the computer and the radio, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Once you have that, you can do VARA, which is a sound card based modem. So you don't need, I mean, Pactor is fantastic. I mean, I use Pactor, and trust me, it beats anything out there, really and truly. And I'm only on Pactor 3. I can't afford Pactor 4 yet. I need to break the bank. And that's the problem with Pactor, is that the modem is really expensive, right? I mean, couple grand US is not something you will just throw out the window.
But I do have a
So,
I do have a packet modem. I don't know if that would work.
well, some of the packet modems actually did Pactor 1. I don't know that any did 2, but 1, which is already not bad. It works. I mean, it's slower.
We'll take a look at it.
Right, we'll take a look at that. So not a problem there, but it's not complicated. It's not rocket science, as they would say. So we can set you up and get you on WinLink, not a problem. Maybe that's something for Robbie. Robbie likes doing classes kind of thing. Do a class on WinLink, man.
It's in train, I'm sure, Robbie. Where is it?
Yeah, actually it is. Through request from Noel, 9 Yankee 4 X-ray, as well as Dave, 9 Yankee 4 Delta Alpha. I don't know if I didn't see either of them on tonight, but they have requested that we put together a step-by-step YouTube video on setting up the WinLink software to use Telnet in the first instance, as you're saying, Dev, as well as how to interface it with a radio. That, I think, is a lot of the mystery. But as Francis said, I agree with that. If you're on FT8, you already can do WinLink. It's just a matter of deciding which protocol using the WinLink Express that you will be running, whether you'll be doing ADOP or WinMore or VARA HF, or the paid version of VARA, or, well, the most expensive way to go, which is the SCS modem for Pactor 3 and Pactor 2 and Pactor 3 and so on, right? So it's, I would say it's in the works. It has not been done as yet, but that's the reason why for the experiments to get it going, because to do the demo, you kind of have to have a operational station and all of that. So that's the reason why within the last couple of months, I've been playing around with it just to see what are the challenges, the difficulty, so that when we deliver the session, and maybe we could collaborate, probably friends, we can collaborate on putting it together. Maybe we can interview you as part of it. You know, as they say, someone who is an expert is someone who has seen quite a lot of hell themselves, right? So when, I think you were mentioning it earlier, Dev, in respect of YouTube, that's how we learn. So sometimes we have to be brave to fall. Hopefully we don't fall off the cliff, but we just stumble and then we get up and brush ourselves off. Someone pulls us up a little bit, a little helping hand, and we go. So maybe a collaborative effort, a Caribbean-wide effort at putting together something that we could all relate to, understand easily, because that's the key. It shouldn't be. There's so many things out there already: books you could read, articles, PDFs, even videos. But somehow or the other, to catch it, you have to read 4 or 5 documents, read 3 or 4 videos, and that's why, like even your videos, Dev, I mean, they're straight to the point, what you need to know, but we're always afraid to ask. I think that's what people want to see. You know, how do I do this? What do I need? What are the steps? Without being too elongated as well.
Yeah. Point taken there, Robbie, you made some good points. And, you know, like you and Franz, you know, you all have an additional choice to make. You know, for example, we will try to decide what mode we're going to use and so on. But the amount of radios you all have in the shop, you have to decide which radio you're going to put together, put aside for this particular application, you know. Yes, I can imagine how difficult those choices are. All right. Right. Excellent. So we're looking forward to that, Robbie. And yeah, this is the whole purpose of this. And, you know, I always look forward to Caribbean integration, where we work together as a team in, you know, various projects and whatnot. And it's actually the genesis of the Digital Voice Caribbean, as well, where, hams could collaborate. I remember when we just gotten into DMR, and Franz, remember this back in the day, right? It was myself, Franz, and Ishmael, back in, I think, 2016 or 2017, when we decided
about
that we want to have our own talk group. You remember those discussions, Franz?
Oh, yeah. That's how
And
969 started.
And actually, it's probably digress, but there's a rationale for the 969, because Trinidad is 9Y4 as part of the call sign 9Y. St. Lucia was J69, and Barbados was 8P6. So that is why the only numbers we wanted in that talk group was 9, 6, and 9, So any combination of that is what, and I think it's either Franz or Ishmael said, they had some links in the Bandmeister thing there that will allow us to get it. And we pushed for it and we got it, So even that it has a Caribbean integration genesis, the 969. That's why we keep the 969. We went to a different network. We kept the 969 because I thought that part of the history was very important. The Three Mosquitoes, getting that done, So, and this is another thing, we should try to get things, activities within the region, whether it be the WinLink project, whether it be Digital Voice Caribbean, even the Caribbean Emergency and WeatherNet, any activity that is integrating the Caribbean is something that I will always advocate and be a part of, and so on. So I just thought I'd give a little spin off there based on the WinLink project and some of the other things that we're doing. Caribbean integration initiatives, I should say, All right, any other questions, comments, topics that you all would like to bring up?
Don't be shy now.
Exactly.
Let me just throw out another question.
Oh.
So along the way, one of the things I've played around with is JS8 call, which my understanding of it, it's the FT8 protocol, but without the limitation of that QSO. Just to share why I ended up there was in experimenting with WinLink and finding that there were not a lot of stations to communicate with. Not that you need a lot, by the way, but I was just looking to see what the propagation was like, and I found that I couldn't tell. I said, PSK reporter, one of the best ways to find out where propagation is going at any instant. And the issue with FT8 is you have to get into a QSO. So sometimes I hit that transmit button in error, and once you send CQ, you have a ton load of persons. You have people just coming in, and you have to get into a QSO, and you want to be nice, so you don't want to ignore people. So JS8 call also has the beaconing capability, reporting to PSK reporter, but there's nothing really like FT8 to see how propagation is running. There are just so many stations at any instance, right? But I ended up with JS8 call because I really just didn't have the time to spend behind QSOs when I wanted to see. Now, if you're monitoring on PSK reporter, you can see who you are hearing, but I really wanted to know who was hearing me. So when I do my FT8 transmissions, I kind of get snowed in. So I ended up with JS8 call beaconing capability, because there are quite a few JS8 call stations around. So once you beacon, you will see where you're heard. But that's why I ended up back with FT8, because there's really nothing quite like FT8 in terms of just raw traffic and quick updates as to the propagation. But I was really doing it to see in terms of understanding the propagation at any point in time for WinLink, where am I likely to be heard, without actually doing WinLink transmissions, right? The FT8, the PSK reporter was really a good proxy. So then I say, okay, well, I have good props, let's say to DR or to Costa Rica, let me try there, or to the US or something like that. And that is why I was using it. But just the question, really, I'm getting the question, what is the what's the uptake on GS8 call? What do people feel? How do people feel about GS8 call if you have used it at all? And just to say, it's kind of like the FT8 protocol, which is sort of like weak signal capability to decode very weak signal, but you can have a QSO. You could actually string out a very long one if you wanted to. And it got me thinking, but wait a minute, just like PSK31 and some of those others where you can actually have a QSO using those digital modes and even use it for emergencies, the GS8 call probably could be something you could exchange, let's say, health and welfare traffic on GS8 call. And the last part about GS8 call that I found intriguing is the networking capability, sort of the store and forward. Maybe, I guess, like what packet is or was, well, I guess is, where you can store and forward like a BBS type operation where GS8 call, if I am not able to get to, I think it's Ian who is in the US, I can probably relay up to France, and France then relays up to Ian. That I found intriguing about GS8 call, but I've also seen a lot of people frown upon it. But, just curious as to know if anyone has played around with it, what you think about it, and whether it has a place for emergency communications.
Yeah, great stuff there, Robbie. And I see Erickson has his hand up, so take it away, Erickson.
Yeah, it's very interesting that Robbie brought this up, because just Monday I was having a discussion online with a guy called Gary Mayfield, and this is where it went. He's like, basically he was saying like the appeal of FT8 as opposed to GS8 call is that with FT8 you don't get pulled into that conversation mode. So basically it's like contesting. You make the contact and you move on and you forget the person. You log it, you forget the person. With GS8 call, which is something that basically, again, France ran it by me, introduced me to it, and I installed it, and I've been using it. Basically, GS8 call is another conversation mode similar to SSB in a form of digital. And a lot of people have been frowning on FT8, and I must say, as a new ham, but as an old tech, I've been into technical stuff for a long time. So, but as a new ham, basically some of the people coming into ham operations now don't do CW. They hardly do SSB. You will find most people want to go digital. So you find GS8 call is still leaning back to the kind of conversation mode where you actually have to talk to somebody, as opposed to FT8 where the computer does basically all the talking. So to me, it's another form of communication where you actually have to be on the computer.
Right. All right, excellent. But Robbie raised a very interesting point. I am sure that when WinLink came out, because GS8 call came out like about, FT8 came out in 2017, around July of 2017. GS8 call came out, I would say, about 2 years ago. So WinLink came out long before that. So the question is, comparing GS8 call with WinLink. Of course, the whole idea behind WinLink, WinLink's claim to fame is that it doesn't need the internet. So too does GS8 call. I know right now the infrastructure is probably a lot more robust on WinLink. But the question now is, and maybe I'll ask, maybe Robbie and some of and maybe Erickson and Franz who have been, using the modes. Can the GS8 call, its protocol, and and maybe a development of an infrastructure, can it be such that in time it could rival WinLink or be on par with WinLink? Anybody want to take it first?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
GS8 call versus WinLink is not quite a comparison. I'll tell you why. WinLink no errors, full stop. You either get the message or you don't get the message. There's not going to be partial message. GS8 is not error correcting, meaning if you lose me halfway, whatever I'm sending, well, you just lost that portion. You might get the rest, you might get the beginning, the end, but not in between. So it's not error correcting. That is the big difference, really and truly. GS8 call, if conditions are good and you have good good signal from one to the other, let's say VHF, cross island or something like that, where you know you have good signal and you're sending messages back and forth, you probably would get it across without too much of an error, tell you the truth. But there's still the possibility. Whereas WinLink, point to point, because that's the thing also with WinLink. I mean, everybody that knows a little about WinLink knows WinLink is basically email over the radio, right? But it doesn't only do that. It can also do point to point, meaning I can be talking to Bernard and be sending him a message direct. I don't need to per se go to an RMS server to send him a message. We would just need to know that disaster has struck. We both stay in, I'm trying to remember what it's called, peer-to-peer mode or something like that. Let me look it up. Yeah, it's peer-to-peer mode. Once you go peer-to-peer, and I send to you, you will receive it and you'll be able to, it's basically you connect to each other, kind of like how packet used to be back in the day, station to station. So that is really a strong point of WinLink, is that there's no room for error in your message. It's gonna get across 100%. There's not gonna be an error. GS8 call might, you have the possibility of errors. So, and in case of, I don't know, a doctor's list from one hospital that you as a ham have to send to, let's say, a government agency that has to provide it, I would imagine that a few letters error on some medication might end up with the wrong stuff, so you don't want that. You want something that is, spot on, and that does it. The one that would rival WinLink really and truly is FLDG with FL message, because FL message is also error correcting, and that would rival it. And I think as hams in the Caribbean, we should have WinLink, and actually we should be familiar with FLDG and FL message, for the simple reason that your phone can have FL message installed, and you can type a message into it basically and transmit it. It will come out on the speaker of the phone, and all you do is key up your handy, whether to a repeater or to the station that can hear you, and transmit it, and they would then either use their phone to receive it or a PC to receive it, and it will be error-free. It will be guaranteed correct. So these are the two that really, for MCOM, I think, are top. Back to you.
That's very interesting. FL message and FLDG. So it's some FLDG here. So that's interesting. And I think Erickson has his hands up. So go right ahead, Erickson.
Yeah, I want to lend some support to what Franz has said, because I was going to say the same thing, that from my research of JS8 call, it has never really been used in a genuine emergency situation. So it has not proven itself to be any sort of NCOM type of software. And as he rightly said, WinLink has, and WinLink's primary function is to use as an email messaging service over HF, VHF, UHF, or internet. So that has really proven itself to be sort of as a backup in terms we lose power emergency. So these two are not comparative, and JS8 call is a basically new stuff, as you rightly said. They're still tweaking it. It still has some work to be done. There's still a lot of bugs in there. You can clearly see it's a bit iffy. So I wouldn't compare JS8 call with WinLink, and I don't see JS8 call either giving WinLink that kind of competition to be used as an emergency software stuff.
Okay, great. Robbie, go right ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate the contributions made by Erickson and Franz. Excellent thoughts indeed. So a follow-on question I have, and the reason why I asked whether or not anyone thinks that GS8 call could be a part of the toolkit for MCOMs is just to know that GS8 call is roughly based on the FT8 protocol that essentially allowed us during the low sunspot cycle to still communicate over the digital modes. The question would be, for the same conditions, will a WinLink signal either via WinMore, AddUp, Pactor, or any of those other modes likely to propagate under those conditions where the signal to noise ratio is very low, and compared to, let's say, GS8 call, which is using the FT8 protocol? I think the reason why we use the FT8 protocol is because it gets through where voice and probably some of the other digital modes are challenged. So is that basis I'm asking the question. Do you see that as a possibility where maybe the protocols that WinLink uses? So I think Deb made an important, Franz made an important point there in respect of the error correction, and I think that's a critical point in terms of the, what you select for MCOMs, and Franz, I think that's a key. Having said that, will there be an advantage or a use for GS8 call because you're not limited by the FT8 short QSO? You can send longer messages, assuming it gets there. But the powerful nature of the weak signal propagation mode of FT8, the protocol. And let me just make one comment. I tend to distinguish between a protocol, between the HF signal, the protocol, and then the application that layers on top of it. So how I come to terms with GS8 call is that GS8 call is the application, FT8 is the protocol, and of course the protocol goes on to RF, right? So if we're using all of this FT8 during weak signal periods, during low sunspot cycle, could it mean that where a WinLink signal using the protocols such as Pactor, WinMore, AddUp, Robust Packet, and all of those may not get through, would GS8 call possibly get through because it's using a weak signal propagation protocol? That's my question to you guys.
Very interesting question indeed, because it's certainly signal to noise ratio is certainly a lot less for FT8 and GS8 call compared to that. So Franz or Erickson or anybody else want to chime in on that?
Well, tell you the truth, what Robbie said there, indeed. I mean, FT8, well, that is what GS8 call is, really is. It's FT8. And what they did, they removed the cycles, meaning if you send a sentence, hello, I'm in town and I'm coming home later, which would be plenty cycles in FT8, all they did is remove cycle 1 and cycle 2 as a defining factor. So it will just do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 until it gets to the end of the message with a pause of, I think it's what, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, I can't remember, between, right? So it's exactly FT8, but it's just that you take all these cycles to send what you're sending. That said, effectively, yeah, I mean, if conditions are that bad that nothing is passing too well, obviously, GS8 call might be the winning one in getting across. But things would have to really be bad, tell you the truth, because, I mean, WinLink is, the strength of WinLink is not so much that it can handle a weaker signal, but that it has plenty RMS servers, RMS stations. That is really the strength. So you see, it goes the other way. I'm not going to be able to maybe hear the weaker signal, but I'm going to have plenty of listeners, right? So you're going to get out the same way. Now, FL likewise, I think it's called MT63. When you use that, that is pretty amazing, I find, for passing messages, with very low signals. So it's the other way. But it's not to say that JS8 calls not have possibly a use. My main point is that it's not error correcting. So that's the only thing. But yeah, if things are that bad, that might just be the mode to get out. And as Robbie has many times said, you yourself say that all the time also, an extra tool in a toolbox never hurts. So it's good to have it set up, know how it works, because you never know. It might be the one that actually helps you get a message out to wherever it needs to go.
Anybody want to chime in again? All right, any other twists on this same topic, or want to look at another one? Let's see, Eric's asking, what is J73 Charlie? But before I go further, I forgot to talk about Terry, J69 Bravo Papa. Good evening there, Terry, and welcome. We didn't hear from you, so just reaching out. J69 Bravo Papa, the mic is yours, sir.
Yes, good evening, good evening. Interesting conversations. I am listening and learning. I'm trying out WinLink myself. I had a conversation with friends over the weekend. Did download the software sometime last year. So I've not perfected it yet. I still kind of seem to get the messages out. So using Vara as instructed by Franz. So I'm still experimenting. Of course, one of these days, you don't have to drive up the mountain to visit France, so I can check out the operations. But definitely, I'm into the digital side of things. I love FT8. I have quite a few thousand contacts on FT8. So I suppose that, like Franz said, the transition would not be difficult to do the WinLink. So I guess it's just getting my configurations correct at this point in time.
Right, Terry, sure. And I'm glad that you're in good hands. You're in very safe hands. Just don't come close to a bar, and then you're in trouble.
Yeah. France has been a very valuable resource locally. I mean, I have been doing DMR, although I don't really like DMR. I got into DMR with France and used to check into a net at Trinidad on a Thursday evening. But, I'm not a big fan of the audio. So, I just chilled on it a little, but I'm hoping that probably the audio can be a little better on the DMR side of things. But so I try to experiment with different technologies as it comes out, and of course I look towards France in most cases to once the new stuff comes out, we usually get that info from France. So good stuff on the part of France. Over.
Yeah, certainly, Terry. But you had me confused there. What are you using on DMR, Terry, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I got a hotspot, and I'm using I got a cheap radio, Bafeng, radio RD5R, I think. Can't remember exactly. And so I use that basically to for my physical connection. In terms of this software, I cannot remember honestly because I have not actually used it for more than a year. So, but it's all configured. So if I turn it on, I can get on right away. So I cannot remember the exact software that I was using, but I got all the groups and what have you configured in the radio for that.
Okay.
Any particular reason for the question?
Yeah. Okay. Actually, what the software might be used on the hotspot might be PyStar software.
Right. Correct. PyStar.
Yeah. But anyhow, I'll give Franz some homework. Franz, you need to sort out this boy radio. I feel bit our rate a little high. Because if you get DMR working, you see just how you hearing me right now. That is exactly how all those digital voice modes supposed to work. Okay. It is, it is as if the person is sitting next to you in your shack or in your house or wherever it is. So we still have some tweaking. I suspect a lot of these hotspots, and I'll tell you the critical part of it. There's something called the RX offset and the TX offset. If those two, especially on DMR, they need to be really, really properly synced. Okay, if it's a little bit off, you'll find that you have broken audio and a tremendous amount of bit error. Your losses will be quite high.
Okay.
It'll be
Yeah,
low.
because I had a bit of a challenge with the offsets, and I guess I think France uses a TYT, and so I didn't really want to invest in a more expensive radio at the time, so I decided to go with the Bafeng. It was about 50 something US at the time, so I bought it, and I had a challenge with the offset, but I eventually on a forum on Facebook, somebody gave me some offsets to try, and when I tried it, it actually worked. But like I said, the audio was almost like, if you want to consider it like too much of a robot type audio, almost an automated type response. So, I mean, I had QSOs with it. It's okay, but then the audio side of things, like I said, wasn't the best. So that's a good point.
Okay, all right, great. All right, another way of getting around that problem is, do you have an iPhone or do you have an Android device?
Android device.
Okay, great. Go to your Play Store and look for an app called Droid Star. That's Delta Romeo Oscar India Delta. Droid Sierra Tango Alpha Romeo Star. Droid Star, one word. Download it, and you should be able to get every single digital voice mode on that free of charge. So you would be able to at least use it. Personally, I use several systems here besides having the TYT like what Franz has. I have a couple of them, but quite a few hotspots that I use crosscode and whatnot. We use Droid Star. The Windows version is Dude Star. Unfortunately, I haven't seen it in the GitHub site, but if you need it, you can just hit me a message on QRZ and you should consider send that to you. Dude Star, it's not available on the GitHub site anymore. That is one. It's the Droid Star, but you can work on the Windows. That's one. And then I also run two other types of servers. One is an Ambi server using a Ambi 3000 chip. That's the TumDV. And I also have set up some DV switches. Franz, have you ever tried the DV switches servers? Have you ever tried that?
No, I've not actually. That's been on my bucket list for a while now, really.
All right, you will love it. You will love it.
I'll switch into All-Star basically is what I want to do.
I'll send. Well, actually, the version of DV Switch has an All-Star setting as part of it. So on one Raspberry Pi, you could be running the All-Star node and your DV Switch, which will give you all the various digital voice modes.
Right, that's what we want to do. I want to be able to link in, let's
yeah. It could be done on one Raspberry Pi.
Back into the All-Star. So, you can have a link back and forth between Echolink, All-Star, the DMR group for the morning nets.
All right, so, this is how we learn people. You see our bait fans there? So I want to send him the software because I get the digital side of it going, right? Not for here, I can get the All-Star thing. So when I send Franz that link, I want him to now tell me how to get it. This is how we go in the Caribbean, This is how we learn from each other and that kind of thing. And thank God Irwin came up with this little thing so that we could, learn from each other and get things going and have ourselves advancing as we move into the various, technologies and so on. So thanks, Franz. I'll send you that link. And
actually, here I have All-Star running here 24/7, which is the normal node. I'm waiting for the interface to the Motorola radio. So I already have prepared my second All-Star node in-house for 6 meters. So that will be fun. I'll put it on a vertical antenna and see, when things good, we might hear some very interesting stations join into conversations, that kind of thing.
Nice one. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I know we've gone a little bit technical. So you want to, I know, when CC start getting technical here, some guys wouldn't want to go and sleep, they will stay up whole night talking tech stuff. So let's see. Most of the things in ham radio would be technical, but anybody else? we want to change the topic a little bit. Any suggestions? Any conversations? So Terry, check out Franz. Let him sort out that rig for you. And if you listen to Franz on the TYT, listen to the audio there. You go to Talk Group 91 on the Bandmeister network or the various networks. You'll see how crystal clear it is. So it is an issue. It's not a DMR issue. I think it's a radio issue, and you understand why you probably pay for
the cheaper radios don't sound as good either. I've realized that.
Yeah, I figured that's to do a lot with the radio.
I definitely want to get either the Alinco has one, and the other one is the Anytone. Any one of those. Just you get a better product basically. So your encoding, decoding part of it is better. You pay for what you get. You know that, Dev. So cheap is not always the best way to go, but sometimes that's the only way you can go. So yeah, fair enough.
Right.
Ideally, if all of us doing DMR could afford to buy a 400 or 500 handheld radio with a single band and a single frequency from Motorola, you would have perfect DMR, eh? But who really is willing to do that? Not too many of us, right?
Correct. And then in our time when we got on, your TYT might be the firmware version 13. So you probably have your firmware hacked, Franz. You have the older version.
That was hacked the day after I got it.
Mine was hacked the night I got it. I broke it.
Beat me to it, man.
I broke it. I went to the air and unbroke it the same night.
But that's it. Yeah, but that to me, that's part. That to me, honestly speaking, in amateur radio, that is like 99% of the excitement.
Exactly.
Not necessarily hacking the radio, but
that is the adrenaline rush.
Right, making it work, and it doesn't work. Go and read up. Oh, try this, try that. Build this, build.
And sometimes you go to sleep just because I want to get up with a fresh set of brain cells.
Correct. Just right.
Yes. All right. So maybe I should start, choosing some people. Garth, tell us what's happening at the seismic there. Anything interesting happening in seismic? Maybe you can start off with St. Vincent and then move across the Caribbean islands. Garth? Oh, I forgot Garth was he was on YouTube. Okay, yeah, tell me his battery is going down. Now Stevenson, I know, is working on some very interesting projects. Okay. One of the projects that Stevenson, we have a lot of activity going on and all over the thing. I know Stevenson is attempting to receive some, is receiving some NOAA signals. And I think, is it only 137 megs, Stevenson? And so you want to tell us about that little project? Stevenson? Like you walk away from the radio? Mr. Mala.
He fell off the chair.
It looks so.
Boy, without cutting you short, I just realized I did looking at what's it called again? Doodstar. I just realized that does IAX, so that means I can connect it to All-Star directly, or to any asterisk server for that matter.
Correct. Yeah. And DV switch. And your DV link, your DV switch.
Actually I love AIX,
Yeah, IX, yeah, the DV switch has IX protocol too.
Nice.
Even Droid, well, of course, I think Droidster has IX and IX as well.
Nice. That's good, man. That's good. Yeah, that's actually a native protocol from Asterix, eh?
From
Asterix.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
creators of Asterix, yeah.
That's
it's a
right.
real solid protocol.
I haven't done much work with it at all.
I'll start. Wow.
Except for Amshak Hotline.
Yes. But I don't envy those guys, you know, that manage the back end of that, because as you can well imagine, that is one huge PBX, is basically what it is. So that is some serious work these guys put in.
All right. Irv, let me show it across to you. I don't know where Stevenson gone. I hope he didn't fall off his chair and damage himself.
Yeah. No, just listening. Nothing really much to add for this time. Happy the conversation keep going. Learning a lot as we're going along. Nothing else to add really at this time.
All right, let me switch across to the other Buchun. Avin. Avin.
Yeah, responding. You had a question? Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to know if you started breastfeeding yet.
Sorry to say, not at this time to all my fans out there. Unfortunately, no.
All right, so no kids or anything like that. All right, no problem at all. So how?
No, I have a kid.
But that's what I mean, breastfeeding.
A long gone past breastfeeding, man. Long gone past breastfeeding.
Oh, how old?
Oh, I have a girl. She's 6, going on 7 soon. Yeah.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. Excellent. So I know Irvin was an uncle. Oh, okay, it's a girl, you said. So Irvin will make Irvin an aunt.
I lose in touch with my Trini logic, but I'm following you.
Yeah. It's like riding a bike, you know. Once you start, you remember. Yeah, man.
Sure.
So things in
It's
Canada.
nice to touch base. So looking at listening to you all, you know, very, very informative. I'm very glad to be part of this little discussion, you know. So very, very good topics being touched on, and it's nice to see that this is still happening and it's very relevant, you know. So appreciate it.
Yeah, but I like to hear people on radio frequencies and that kind of thing, you know. Zoom is a kind of pseudo thing. So I feel your brother holding out on you, you know. I set up a little site there so that we could share stuff.
Yeah.
And he ain't share no software with you to get on the air and all them kind of thing.
Yeah. I have a few links on. You man send me a few stuff here. But what is happening? The general license here in Canada is not appreciated in the same way. So I would have to do a lot. I have to go and basically start over from technician level, the equivalent technician level here in Canada to get my license to get on the air here. So it's a few things that you have to do, but it's not as friendly, for want of a better word, as the FCC one. So it's a lot more information that is required at the basic level, and then there's an advanced level that you have to do. So I just honestly, I really haven't gotten around to doing it yet, because of the pandemic and all of that. But
right.
Things were closed, and I really couldn't meet up too much because they were advising, of course, not to even have any meetups and so on. But the clubs and the organizational bodies were still active. But yeah, so that's a piece of information that really was new to me. I think anybody interested in coming to Canada, just know that Canada has their own regulations here as well. And you can use a call sign here in Canada as a guest, your American call sign, and I think you add a dash something to it. I can't remember what it is, but it's just another letter that you add like a guest or something. You could Google it and check it, but it's been a while since I looked into that. So you can use your call sign, your US call sign here, but you must tag on that to that letter with a dash or a slash or something.
Yeah, it might be a slash. Recently, Provincian might be like if you're far west, maybe Victor Echo 7 slash on your US call sign. But then again, they might allow it for only a certain time frame.
I can't recall, but yeah, you're possibly very correct about that again. But yeah, it was news to me that you know I thought that a call sign was a call sign. Is something called I'm googling it here. A reciprocal agreement here, dash LP or dash CA. Vice versa, Canadians could do the same thing in the US as well with their call sign, and you can do it. But I think the higher frequencies, it might get a little tricky. You know what I mean? So I don't know how, but the courses are available. So at the end of the day, you know, is all like how I look at things is always a learning experience, and there may be things that you pick up here that they do things a little differently in a different country, and it's always a positive experience to participate and then meet people at the local hams and that kind of thing. So I guess when things fully open in Ontario and Alberta already, but I think it will be possibly a little while before they settle into exams and courses and that kind of thing. So I look forward to it all in good time, you know. So
okay, actually, Trinidad, we have reciprocity with reciprocal agreements with US and Canada. Yeah? So you can look into that because we have that reciprocal agreement with most countries, put it that way. And Canada and US is one of them. So you may not even be a US call. You could probably use your 9 Zulu call as well. But talk to the authorities there, maybe phone them up and see if they might be able to give some insight on that.
I think you see a lot of the things to the regulation changes within city areas in terms of different frequencies. So like the 2 meter bands and stuff, and the smaller bands, I would say, well,
not really. With amateur radio, your frequency is governed by ITU, the International Telecommunication Union.
Yeah.
And we are Trinidad, the US, and Canada. We are in what is called Region 2. Okay, Region 1 is East and Africa and so on. Region 2 is us, and Region 3 is, it might be Europe, or Region 1 is Europe. I know Kip might be able to tell us in greater detail, but we are in the same region, and therefore we have basically the same band plan. Okay?
Yeah, but I think what the regulations gets a little tricky with is not necessarily what you're allowed to use, but what antennas you could put up in certain areas. So
Well,
that is the problem, I think.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. So you're right. Definitely with the frequencies, your license per se is not really a problem, but certainly in terms of the what do you call it, the antennas, like downtown and stuff, you know, you can't put up no big antenna naturally.
And that's why these files that Irvin sent you is so nice. Because you need no antenna, your cell phone already have an antenna in it, and nobody could see it. So,
yeah, well, except the NSA. Sorry, yeah, but that's all right.
Who's that again?
Nothing. I just had a cough. But we know, well, the Link and all of those things too, they're running on, I think, you're opening up port 80 or something like that. So normal internet ports, you're kind of opening up your routers for those things, but you know, that may or may not be the concern of everyone. You know, I kind of into a little bit of the cybersecurity type of work, so I kind of a little bit have a different outlook on those type of communications. And then how they monitor SDR here is a little bit more intense than other regions would be, because police actually monitor, you know, they actually monitor the airwaves. So it's not illegal for me, for example, like you could without an amateur radio license, you can just buy a SDR off Amazon and plug in, and you could listen to as long as you want. And then, as with any license, you can't transmit, right? So it's a little bit more monitored here in a certain way. So a little difference is you're a lot more free in Trinidad. You're governed by TAT and these regulations, but it's like I said, control a lot by what antennas you could put up where and that kind of thing. So
okay,
interesting stuff though. Good, like I said, good to be a part of the opportunity to learn any way of doing things differently to expand your education and your repertoire of knowledge.
Right. All right, so let's see. We just have, let me see if Stevenson is back with us. Stevenson, are you back with us? No, not yet. Okay. Anybody else have any questions or comments before we wind it up? And welcome, Roger. Nice to have you on board.
Good night, Dev. Good night, guys. Sorry to be late. I only just was able to check my email.
All right. Okay. I know how these things happen. And when you're busy washing wares and cooking the food and whatnot, I mean, checking email is low down on the priority,
That's a fact.
I'm talking from experience,
All right.
All right. So I don't want to keep people unnecessarily long. So if anybody, just take maybe one go around from everybody who is here live, just to give us a little comment. And I'll start with Roger, the last. So tell us, Raj. You missed the little discussion we had. We had quite a nice discussion on various technologies and all that sort of stuff. But let me hear what keep you back during the course of the day, whatever, how you're managing with the COVID, how you're managing with the SOE,
Well, for me, the SOE is not particularly a problem because I have been more or less at home since 2019 due to situations beyond my control. All right, let me put it like that. For today, on the other hand, I am trying to assist my brother-in-law, which is a vehicle that I actually built for him. Right, so I'm just trying to get that back on the road for him to have him mobile. Got into some problems and realized this is a lot more work than I had carded for today, so that is going to be finished tomorrow. Otherwise, that is about it. Taking it slow. All right. The COVID situation is, like I said, for everybody else, they might complain about being home, but I was home forcibly from 2019 September, end of September 2019. So COVID started officially in Trinidad and Tobago, came into Trinidad and Tobago 2020, there about March, when everybody really had a problem with it. But I have been home all that time, confined to house, right? So it hasn't really been a problem for me. Right? I was in there before, so it's just a matter of something else and another reason to not go outside and somebody come by your door, decide you're not going to answer it. That's basically it, right? So it's not really a problem to me. I can move when I need to move, or sometimes if I want to move, right? Otherwise, I'm just fine. Taking it easy, one day at a time. When the rain fall, I'm glad. When it don't, well, depending on what you have to do, you're kind of happy day too, right? Otherwise, that's about it.
Thanks, Raj. And thanks for being here, taking the time despite your busy schedule. And I hope you finish wash up your wares and wipe down the sink and all that kind of thing. That's important too.
Yeah, that's gonna be clean.
I just get licks for not doing anything, Bernard.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, Raj. The mic is yours, Bernard. Unmute. Unmute, Bernard.
Okay, fine there, guys. Very informative. It's quite a good learning session for me. A lot of technical stuff. I like that, and certainly I'll be depending on Franz heavily that The first time I saw WinLink was many, many years ago when we had the Atlantic Rally for cruisers. And that was what the yachtsmen were using as they crossed the Atlantic and so on. So it was always a fascinating thing for me, but I'm taking a serious look at it as an extra form of emergency communication. And I'm pretty active now with the VHF link with friends and the other people there. We go up and down the islands. I even run a Friday evening net on VHF.
Saturday.
Right through the Caribbean. I sometimes get either a wild card like a European, Canadian, or South American checking in the net occasionally. And that's a lot of fun as far as the digital aspect is concerned for me. Very good evening. I'm happy to see that Terry came in because I know he's been pretty active in that area as well. And he would have enjoyed this evening. So Terry, welcome aboard, and I hope to see you around more regularly at future sessions. Sometime back on the St. Vincent situation, I think the Taiwanese government was able to make a donation of a number of handhelds to some hams, people trying to get into ham radio on St. Vincent. Donald is the one heading that up and training people and that sort of thing. But the last session, there was a project where you were supposed to get some fundraising going to get some younger people into the radio. So I don't know, you didn't comment on that, but I don't know, it would be interesting to know how that's coming along there. Other than that, I enjoyed the evening and nice discussion, and I enjoyed every moment of it. Back to you, Dev.
Yeah, okay there, Bernard. But actually, I'll tell you something. That's why this is called conversations. The idea is to generate the issues, and it's for the people who, you see, the action to get it done is way above my pay grade. You know, I mean, as a ham in my time, I have two people here who are ham radio operators who I interacted with, you know, about 30 years ago, and they are now hams. And I have had not that I'm hanging up my guns, but over boots. But my life has been spent, you know, getting people involved in science, technology, and and stuff like that. So, you know, the idea is to get them going, but you know, it wasn't a thing to have a way forward. It's for people to start thinking about it and realizing how important it is to get you know, the activity and get these actions going and whatnot. And even these forums, we said, you know, would be means of getting people involved, you know. So I hope the people who are listening in the various societies across the region know that we need to find activities to get. And it wouldn't happen overnight. It wouldn't happen within a month, you know, but at least it's food for thought. And we need to plan these activities to get things going, you know. All right, so thanks for that there, Bernard. Let me pass across to Steve Headley, 954SH. Pick it up there, Steve.
Yeah, good night all, and Dev, and it was a great job. I've been monitoring and listening for some time there, and I really look forward to seeing the videos because that's my next step to get into the digital mode. Over.
Yeah, okay, nice. And the nice thing is, well, actually, on Peanut right now, and you know, as I mentioned that, just for experimentation, there's another app called Peanut, and it's available. It's only available on the Android device, actually. But there are some rooms in there that do things like SSTV and packet and so on. So, you know, it's a nice ground where you could meet people who are technically inclined, and they could actually, you know, do SSTV in a sort of controlled environment not HF, where you might be here to show where your signal is going, but you can actually set up a skid and get some very, very nice pictures being broadcast or being received. They do packet, they do SSTV, they do a whole set of other digital stuff as well. So that's another area that you can look at as well. Steve, I should say. All right, let me move across now, and thanks for coming up again there, Steve. Erickson, good evening, and let's hear your final comments.
I didn't realize you were doing the roster for winding down. Yeah, but as usual, tonight, this being my second evening with you guys was very good. I kind of love the conversation, the way we took it tonight. What I would have liked is there a way that you, Dev, can send out a notification to the people that are presently here as a reminder for this forum? Because I think I only got it from France. Normally on a Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm kind of a bit busy, but I will make time off for this forum, because to me it's a learning experience, and it's another way, as you said, of uniting the Caribbean digitally or through ham radios. We've tried that over the air with nets and stuff, and with linking the Caribbean islands together. But this is another way of linking the region. So I will push it out a lot more to my group. We have Wara in Dominica. It was great to see or to know that Dennis is here tonight. I hope she's still there. Last week was only me. It's good to see that another member is here, and I will try my best to encourage the others to join, because there is so much you can learn. I mean, it's one thing to learn from me as a local person based here. It's another thing to learn from Dev, and to learn from Bernard, and to learn from Steve, and to learn from Matt, because everybody will bring across their own experience and the way they do things and their learning. You know what I mean? So it's thank you for inviting me, and tonight again was wonderful, and I look forward to the next time.
Okay, I mean, but it's sent out on actually I sent it out on the J7 hams. I sent it out on the Fox Hunters, the Barbados hams. Sent it out. You have a group, the Amaro Caribbean. I sent it out on that as well. We have 2 chats here locally. What I will do, and maybe we could repurpose. What I'll do, maybe I'll ask some people here to connect to, and I'll put it in the there's a Facebook group. And see, again, many people are not really on Facebook because
you have the digital voice group on Facebook, of which I'm part of, but I don't see it there.
Digital Voice Caribbean.
Yeah.
Right. So we could probably use the Digital Voice
Caribbean.
We
should, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. Well,
the J7 Hams group, I was part of that, but I was very vocal, and maybe I was too vocal for some people, and I was kicked out. It's not true anymore, you know what I mean? I was, because I can be a very vocal person when I see and I you know what I mean? And so I'm no longer part of the J7 hams, and even if they invite me, I won't go back. Tell it the plain truth.
Oh, all right, okay.
All right.
Yeah, actually, that's the things I wanted to bring up. As a good thing, I get a reminder, because I was looking at setting up our mailing list as well, and we could look to integrate another notification list. The social media one I know is a little bit hit and miss, because many different persons take part in different groups. So it's a little bit hard to corral into one place. Even to get persons to follow our page and whatnot too. So it's something we could discuss, and we could send out the notifications and the reminders and stuff like that. So we'll talk about it as well. Yeah.
You know what we could do too, Irvin, is that on that same link, free conversations, I could actually put in in less than a minute, I could actually put in another button which says, to join the mailing list, so be part of the conversation. So they click on that, it will go to a form. enter the name, call sign, email address, whatever, and we could use that as a source. So we could probably do that. And of course, we could look at I'll make an admin in Digital Voice Caribbean Facebook page, because it's already set up for that purpose.
Yeah.
You know, to unify the Caribbean. And we could take it from there.
Yeah. So
that's an excellent suggestion, Erickson.
Thanks for that. Yeah.
Right. So, right. So thanks very much for Erickson. That Erickson, we certainly work on that for the next one, which should be, of course, we do it once monthly for the time being, you know. All right, Kim, good evening, and thanks for sticking around with us today. Over to you.
Right. So just in closing, I would say that the countries, going back to the WinLink countries, this is the countries with WinLink in the from the ITU project. It's Barbados, St. Kitts, Grenada, Dominica, Jamaica, Antigua and Barbuda, and either St. Lucia or Guyana. I'm not sure about those, but it's 7 countries in the end. As I understand it, it was 7 countries: Barbados, St. Kitts, Grenada, Dominica, Jamaica, Antigua and Barbuda, and either St. Lucia or Guyana. 7 countries. And just to close, thank you very much to you, Dev, and the whole team. Irv, it looks like you are the one in Western Canada, but you are in Trinidad, right?
No, well, I see you're probably getting all confused with the resemblance. Alvin is my brother. He's the one who's in Canada. I'm in South Africa.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You look like you're in Western Canada with the hat and the long sleeves.
I catch you.
Yeah, right.
Right on that event.
Okay, but it was great. Thanks a lot to everybody.
Right. Thanks for doing it. I appreciate your presence.
Right. Okay, there, Kim. Thanks very much for being part of the session today. And I sincerely looking forward to seeing you in the next one as well, which should be in August. You know, we do that monthly for the time being, you know.
Yep, for sure.
All right, excellent. All right, moving on. Let's move on to, let me see if Stevenson is there with us. Stevenson is still there with us? 9 Zulu Ford.
Dev.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just kind of jot back in there was sorry, I forgot I had another session with some of my friends in Thailand to help them out with this peanut packet and SSTV. So I was there trying to help them figure out their software and things like that there. But we are doing it on Team. I'm using Teamweaver to do it, help them out on their PCs. So I just jot back in here to say hi, and I'm looking ahead back on it. I know it's different timeline for them. They are daylight, I am night. I have to go to bed, they are up. So thanks again for everything, and good session again there. Sorry I did not for the whole session, but it was kind of back and forth at the time there. So I'm heading back forth now to Thailand there. So all the best again, everyone. Have a blessed night. Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah, okay. At Thailand time, I think they're 11 hours ahead. So they will be like, what, about 9 o'clock in the morning? And it's because of you. I just want to ascribe blame where it's supposed to go. It's because of you wrap it up now, you know, because I call you to give us a little talk on with the satellites and all that sort of stuff. But anyhow, I know you're busy, and that is important. We'll probably do it another time there, Stevenson. And you see, saying I tell earlier, it have packet and SSTV and whatnot on Peanut. So Stevenson will probably give us a little heads up, maybe in the next session or maybe the session after that, once he has finished his chore. And Stevenson is one of those hams that always helping hams all over the world. This is nothing new for Stevenson. So I'll take one more from you, Stevenson, before you pull the plug.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, then fine business that I try. Sorry, I nearly pressed the wrong key here. Okay, fine. Okay, then no problem. Well, next session, I hope I'll be able to make my calendar free. So I'll stay here to try to advise there. But basically, I'm working on NOAA and also the GeoSat. They already did the antenna systems, everything already, both convert one of my old my DirecTV dish for Geostat, and started to get a little image, but still waiting on some hardware to come down, which will be coming down next 2 weeks with my brother-in-law, so I don't have to wait on my skybox there. So that's just about it. So just keeping active to stay young there and stay healthy there, Dev. So all the best again, everyone. Let me head back to those guys. I don't want to keep them too long there. So blessed night again.
All right, buddy. Take care. And you hope those that hardware get the COVID vaccine as well. So you don't have to go on quarantine, and you end up being a month you had to wait for it. And do the necessary PCR testing and whatnot. All right, buddy. Take care. Have fun. And we'll chat again. All right, then we'll move on to Mark, 9Z4 Yankee. Mark, you're still there with us? I hope so.
Hey guys, still here. And nice session again this month. I would like to see more sessions for Monday. Special good evening to my good friend Roger and Tobago, also Mr. Franz and sure. I'll just let you guys know the Trinidad is in ITU zone 11. All right, just want to clear that up. We are in IARU region 2, and we are in CQ zone 9. Speaking about all these different things, we have the International Amateur Radio Union HF Championship coming up this weekend, starting on Saturday and Sunday, for a 24-hour period. Now, we're supposed to be taking part in these things. I've been trying to raise awareness for a while now, so I'm not sure if we're going to be taking part in that event this year. If not officially with the 9x4 TTARS, I will opt to still try to keep the flag flying with my own call sign in that contest. This is a 24-hour contest. Yeah. Anyhow, I've been trying to figure out what's all this FDA thing that you guys are talking about. Not quite sure what this FDA thing is. But that's pretty interesting. As far as the GS8 call, that's all great. But let's not forget about RTTY, radio teletype RTTY, as well as the PSK 31. I think all these different things added together will make for a nice little toolkit for amateur radio and comms. And having all these different things together would make effective communications a little bit better, where one software might fall off, maybe another one will pick up slack and keep it moving. So someone mentioned that at least being able to know how to use the various softwares will be a plus and asset. So looking forward to the next chat up, guys. Have a safe and enjoyable week ahead, and make sure to follow all your COVID guidelines. Back to you, Dev, from 94.
Okay, Mark, thanks again for chiming in, and for those words of information and possibly encouragement for IRU Championship this weekend. Not sure if there's anything on. All right, so let's switch across there to Denise. Denise, thanks very much for being here with us this evening. Let's hear your wind-up speech there, Denise. Over to you. Denise, you still there with us? All right. Let's see. Dennis have an interesting call sign, boy. J72 Delta Mike Romeo. The original DMR from Dominica. Interesting. All right, Umbakos that run. Ronald, over to you.
Yes, Dev. Good night to you again and to other hams on this forum. Definitely, it was a very informative, very interesting discussions tonight, particularly on WinLink. Definitely has been piquing my interest ever since Robbie started talking about it. And based on the little presentation he did on the 2-meter net on Sunday, and the discussions around that tonight, definitely something I would like to look into, time permitting and so on, and get involved in another digital modes and amateur radio. And particularly where it comes to emergency communications, especially at this time. So definitely looking forward to more sessions like this, where we could go deeper into discussions like that and other aspects of amateur radio. So indeed, time well spent here, and if I knew that other persons will also come on board for future forums and share their ideas, their concepts, and so on, and keep this thing going. So thanks again for inviting me into this, and definitely enjoyed it very much. Looking forward to the next one. Good night, everyone. 9 Zulu 4 from your Gulf November.
Okay, there, Ron. Fine, excellent. And you give me a good idea there. We can have a standby, like how we had, Franz and Robbie here to enlighten us about WinLink and so on, just by a question. And how we have even Stevenson and probably standby to tell us a little bit of what he's doing with the satellites. There's things like these that will actually expand our horizon, in amateur radio. And that's what we do. We share information. We have a forum where we share our information, and it will excite something about a particular project in all of us, and make us a little more, what shall I say, put a few more tools in our toolbox, a little more enlightened in different areas, and maybe what we think we're doing right now might be fun, only to find out that there's more fun somewhere outside there, and this is why we need each other. Over to you now, Fedna. Good evening, and let's say what you have to say after almost 2 hours of, or not almost, a little more than 2 hours of chatting. Over to you, Fedna.
Good evening again, Mr. Chair and all operators. Tonight was interesting, right? I enjoyed the conversation, right? Hearing different views on certain things, especially the conversation with the J. I'm not too sure the mode. First time I heard of the I think the J6S mode or something. So, right? Yes, I was pretty interested. Reference the WinLink, I dabbled with it once or twice in the early stage, but end up meeting a little speed bump and at that time, so I just make a U-turn to something else. Yeah, but good conversation. I will be getting back into the WinLink, and looking forward to the next conversation. Right, so I'm going to keep it short. Thank you and have a good night.
Okay, Fedna, fine. And the mode that we were talking about is JS8 call. That's Juliet Sierra number 8, Charlie Alpha Lima Lima. JS8 call. You can just Google it. Software is pretty easy to set up. If you have your sound card set up on the radio, using any kind of digital voice mode, same settings will work, and you're good to go. There's fixed frequencies that they operate on, and I forget the term they use, but anyhow, I've been at it for a while ago, So I'm glad that you were able to make it, and looking forward for you to join us again. So we're moving across to Garth. Let's see if Garth could talk, if you have any charge on his phone. If not, so we're going to across to Denise again to see if she's back with us. Garth, are you there with us?
Yes, Dev. Hi again. Sorry about earlier. I was following on the YouTube, and apparently I had a big delay. So by the time I heard the call and I switched back onto the Zoom, you all were way off and ahead of me. It was an interesting topic tonight, especially with the WinLink here. I know when I went to St. Vincent earlier in February, I started researching it. So now that I'm back here and it's hot on the plate now, I'll try to get into it and research more and see how I could learn about it before I have to use it like that again. So I'll be more familiar, so I'll be able to set it up and have it available to use at the next shipment out. And probably try to use it and practice using it while I'm in Trinidad and get familiar with it. So again, it was a nice session. Thanks again for the invite, and I hope to hear more in the next session coming up.
Yeah, okay there, God. Fine. Glad to have you. Yes, I forgot you know, that there's a little delay between the YouTube feed and the live feed. Well, I should say the live feed and the YouTube broadcast, you know, and apologize for not waiting there, because we were calling you to give us a little thing on what is happening, you know, what has happened, and you know, your experience and that sort of stuff. But again, there's going to be a lot of another time for that. Rest assured, buddy. And stick around after end the live feed. They got you know, actually we do, you leave if you want to stick around with. It's like we're just going to end the live feed, because you know, you don't want to go on indefinitely or unlimited. Want to have at least a little structure. But I must say, you know, I would like to thank the viewers. Not that we finished with the online people just yet, but while I remembered, I saw we had about 228 to 38 viewers from the last session, which is quite good, you know, so at least it serves its purpose. So let's see if Denise is still back there with us. Denise, are you there with us? J7 to Delta Mike Romeo. Live DMR from the Caribbean. All right, so let me swing across that now to, let me see, guest first, France.
Yeah, well, the conversation was great for sure. I mean, we covered lots of ground, but it's not exhaustive. There's so much more you can talk about, you know, there's so many little things. And actually something came up in my mind. I played with it before. It's called Pygate. Yeah, that's what it's called, Pygate, which is basically a WinLink setup on a Raspberry Pi. And it acts as a server. The principle is that you would set it up either to your HF or to your VHF, whatever it is, whatever method that you'll be able to connect to an RMS server, right? And let's say in a disaster situation, you would use that Raspberry Pi now as the way out. It would have a Wi-Fi connection and a server running, and you can use your cell phone, basically send an email, you connect to it, and there's a specific form that you use, and you just fill it out and send it, and the Raspberry Pi connects to WinLink and sends it off. Real nice little device. I used to use it actually against Wayne setup when he had packet onto it. That was real well, real nice device to have. I need to redo one actually here and set it up with Backdoor really, so that it'd be available if something happens. But that's for another show, because we can go on, as you say, forever and ever, right? It never ends. There's always something more to talk about and to discuss and to learn and to try. So, but definitely enjoyed it this evening. Very, very good, and look forward to the next one for sure. And I'm sure many others also look forward to it, and hopefully we'll get more people involved. You know, the more the merrier, the more knowledge. So that's a good side of this, is that knowledge is shared. Looking forward to hearing from Stevenson with his satellites and whatnot. That's plenty of fun. I've done that, so that's plenty of fun to have, and I'm sure there's stuff that I don't know that I would like to know. So good stuff indeed. Back to you, Dave.
Okay, there. Thanks, there, Franz. You know, as you was talking about the Pygate, I'm wondering if this guy, he has a lot of YouTube videos. Ken4ACK, Jason. I remember him doing a lot of stuff on with the Raspberry Pi and AddUp and Direwolf and all that kind of thing. Yeah. And,
he had one that I saw. I need to follow up on where it's not he that did it, but one of his just described. And it could do packet, it could do WinLink, APRS, different things. And the guy wrote a very simple app on his phone. And you just start up your Raspberry Pi and you basically hook up to it and do the various things, you know, and be able to send SMS, APRS, WinLink, packet, you know. That was really neat. I need to follow up on that one actually, as you mentioned it. But Jason, that guy is brilliant.
Very.
Really good.
And he makes those videos look so easy. As a matter of fact, you know, he's one of the guys that really enthused me into, you know, the Raspberry Pi and doing some Linux and all that sort of stuff, you know.
Yeah. He makes it look as if it's easy as pie, right?
Yeah. Like if you could do that. You could do that while eating some quicks and some hops bread.
Yeah, but but he's brilliant and he explains it well. I must say, he explains
Very
it well.
much so.
He
Yeah.
gives you the information you need to achieve what he's talking about.
Correct. He's excellent. Really good. So I would encourage his call is Kilo November 4 Alpha Charlie Kilo. He has a lot of YouTube videos.
Yes. And that's a packet call, right? You know what it's saying?
Yeah.
A packet call.
Yeah.
The it's an ACK is the act. It's the acknowledgement.
Yeah. and if you don't get it, it's a knack.
Right, that's right.
I learned when I had to introduce packet in Trinidad back in the 90s. There's an AX25 plate. I used to learn that. Know every single thing in that packet. The whole framing of the.
But
yeah, go ahead.
The only thing in the packet protocol is when you connect to a BBS, the very last reply to a demand that you get is the letter F and the letter Q, and I always read that the wrong way,
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, man.
These are fun things, man. Yeah.
All right, we'll pass it across to Robbie. Robbie, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Dev. So just to say thanks to you, Dev and Irvin, for hosting these sessions. Very valuable and certainly a pleasure to interact with all of the hams on this evening's session as well. Learned quite a lot and looking forward to future sessions. So later will be greater, 7-3.
Excellent there, Robbie. Did I miss out anyone? Anybody? All right, so let me say it's now 0216 UTC or 1016 local. I'd like to wish everyone Godspeed. I'd like to thank you for being part of tonight's session. And to our YouTube viewers who streamed, who was with us live, we say thank you. To all the other viewers who are going to look at a post-event, we thank you for being part of it. We'd like to have you here with us, but I know sometimes it might be difficult. The next session, I think talking to Irvin, he suspected might be very early in August. We don't have any, it's one of the Wednesdays in August that we'll do this. So pretty early in August, because I know people will be, by that time things might open up. This is one of the logic. Things might open up and people will want to go on vacation or whatever else. So we're trying to hit it a little early.
Back to office for many people as well too. So
right.
So we're gonna look at the dates as well. I'll just continue now with
right. So the last person who will have his say is you, Irv.
Right. All right. Well, I'll take it up there. Nice segue. So thanks all for joining. And as you were saying, with the dates, we're looking at, first, second week in August, we will confirm. We're supposed to have our Manca meeting coming up soon as well. So coming out of that, we'll see what things we have moving forward. And I have a couple of notes here with respect to the mailing list and the communication and reminders and stuff like that. So we'll definitely work on that on the website and all of that. For the YouTube listeners and those not on the call, we have a standing link, right? So it's 9Y4, that's 9 Yankee 4 .tango/conversations, right? So you can log in and join at any time. We will be posting the dates and stuff there as well too. So you can look forward to that. And just, not to repeat everything that was said in the wrap up, it was really an interesting conversation. And well, as I keep saying, I knew him, I just coming in here like a sponge and soaking up as much as I could soak up from the, the very experienced people here. So, 7-3 to all, have a good evening. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, I know we realized, I asked if I didn't take up anybody. I'm not too sure if I took up Avin. With this gray hair here, I might have old-timers disease. So did I take up Avin? I ain't too sure, Avin, you get the last say, boy. You get to talk after your brother.
Yeah, you did give me a chance on the air, but yeah, I appreciate it. Just say thanks to everyone. Everyone, this is the kind of things that that add value to everyone, and I think it was a pleasure to be here, and thankful to be part of it. And everyone's contribution was greatly appreciated. Thanks, Dave and Irvin and the rest of the team. Cheers, everyone.
All right, buddy. Thanks again. Let me thank my viewers who join us on Zoom. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us. Those viewers, or those of you all who join us via the live stream, thank you very much. Really appreciate your presence. And I learned something because of you. I wanted to make sure that you could have chatted. I'm not sure if anything came up on the chat, but we thank you for being there for us. And for those of you all who will look at the event post tonight, we thank you for taking the time out to share with us on these conversations. It's the TTARS conversations. So thank you all. Have yourself a good night. Please be safe. And we look forward to seeing you again in August. August, I would just like to add, is the best month of the year. It starts off with a public holiday. It ends up with fireworks in the night. And some people say think that the fireworks is because of independence. It's like this brand they call, you see, DG. People think it's Dolce & Gabbana. But you see, Dolce & Gabbana was a company that was formed in 1985. This thing here was formed in 1961. So I have more rights to DG than Dolce & Gabbana. Similarly, the country's birth is 62. This one was in 61 in August. So when you see the fireworks at the end on the 31st of August, just remember the ending my birth month. And because I'm going to retire and because of that function, this year I'm celebrating 2 months. One is July for my retirement, and of course the birth month in August. So I'm in celebration mode, people. Okay. Thank you all. It has been a pleasure. I just want to explain now in case things, go awry in August, you could understand why. Irv, you might have to take over in August fully. All right. Thanks again. And good night, YouTube viewers. All the best. And imagine I ain't drink nothing yet. Bye, people.
Night. Thanks again.
You're welcome, Kim.
Good night, all.
All right.